Someone was trying to teach you a lesson, but you taught them a lesson instead. You caught on, and they're wondering if that's what happened, or they're wondering if it's their imagination. Very immature. This person learned a valuable lesson with you. You saw who they really are. You saw a lot of things. This person learned that you're protected. They learned that they should not have really tried. They learned that you're always going to see through their tricks. Things always line up. They're wondering if you're more protected than other people, honestly. A little freaked out. Because they feel like you have a lot of stories where you're protected. And they don't know why they tried now. Puzzled. It's funny. Confused. Yeah, wishful thinking. Epiphany. Distance. Recharge. Okay. They're trying to recharge after this, which is the same thing you should be doing, really. We all should, but in case this, like, zapped your energy, may you be recharged and restored. Because I'm getting a very draining situation here. Like, something where someone almost had you to the last minute. Or had you until just something was revealed. Something really quick that made a lot of things line up. You outsmarted them. That's really, in a nutshell, what happened. Yeah, intuitive stuff and you're protected and everything, but really, it's all that together plus you just outsmarted them. Like you've been down this road before. This person didn't realize that their tricks aren't all that original. They didn't realize how much you have been through. Like, why even try? I feel like I'm supposed to go to this Dead Inside Oracle deck. What do you need to know? Yeah, they feel dumb. Like, why did they try? They really don't know. But there's some lesson in it for you, for everybody here. Thought it was a vibe. Red flags, fantasy, false hope. Okay, that's why this person's really upset. They thought it was a vibe. They're afraid that you think it was just one thing, like they were trying to manipulate you. They want you to know that you got things wrong. Like, at least that's how they see it. Someone really feels that way. If that's the case, they can reach out to you, huh? I'm really getting that it's more than that, though. They just don't really want to admit fault. Spill tea, Oracle deck. One of my lights keeps going out. Don't know if you noticed. Just in case you see that. Okay, path unknown. Loyal or not. Bridging differences. Testing limits, unspoken tensions. Wondering what they can do from a distance. They don't like this distance between you. They want to bridge that for sure. They don't like knowing, they don't like the path being unknown. They don't like there not being closure. They feel destroyed by this. There's just something about this that doesn't sit right with them. It's weighing on their conscience, in other words. Because now they wonder, were they overstepping in some way? Did they have some kind of expectation that they shouldn't have had? Loyal or not, telling me that they felt more of a vibe than you did. And they wonder now what was going on. Because where you may have seen manipulation, they saw it just as a relationship developing. But that just could mean that they have different expectations for what a relationship is. So the kind of manipulation that should occur in a relationship, if any. Personally, if you got to use words like manipulation, it's probably not the right thing for you. It's probably not a good relationship. Anyway, what else? What do you need to know here? What do you need to know? Write about this. Journal about it. You know what that means. whatever came into your mind, get it out on paper or something. Keep it to yourself, though. Words are very powerful. Words are very powerful. Keep that to yourself, whatever you write. But you know what it means to write about this. Speak life. Okay. This goes back to what I said about words being powerful. Just know that every word is precious. I'm not trying to say that we don't acknowledge the darkness and all this stuff, but there's no reason to make it worse. Focus on what you want. You're always creating your world all the time. If you're saying bad things, you're really programming the air, the water around you. It's proven that water holds memory, it holds intention, and that goes along with the words. Like the words, really, it's the intention in the words altogether. But really, the air holds it. Everything around you. It's just easier to see in the water because we can see it. We can see it change between all three phases right in front of our eyes. So water is always fluid, always moving. We can put it under a microscope. We can do all kinds of stuff. Anyway, the point is, be careful with your words. Don't let any kind of animosity towards this person block your blessing in some other way. Because really we block things by having unforgiveness when it's I know, not everybody's ready to forgive everybody, because I was going to say when it's unnecessary. Really, it's always unnecessary, but it really comes with awakening, enlightenment, realizing that you may just be playing a game, just a theory. Everything seems so real, I know, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is this. When you let go of all that, even if you don't incur more debt. Forgiveness just means wiping the debt off the books. It doesn't mean letting the person incur more debt with you, So you can forgive without really doing much besides just canceling the debt. Doesn't mean you invite the person back into your life or have contact or anything. But where I'm getting to is, if you really want your prayers, your manifestations, everything to explode in your life, send forgiveness and peace to everybody. And just realize, I feel like somebody here needs to know that whatever happened here was small potatoes, just small, it really wasn't that big. If it's something that's triggering you, get to the bottom of it, because it's really not worth it. It's not worth it. And even if there's money involved, I know I always get these comments where people are like, you don't know what they stole, or you don't know what they took. I know. Look, I'm talking from experience here. The bigger the thing they took, really expect even more to come your way, even better if you forgive. I know I've been through things. Let's not go there right now. No reason to. I'm just going to say karma is real. Karma is a real thing, especially if you're protected. Especially this thing I've been talking about here. Didn't I start out by saying someone realized you're protected? They didn't realize what they were dealing with. You saw things. You noticed things. They see that now. You are protected. You need to understand that. You need to understand that anything weighing you down like this unforgiveness, I know people don't want to hear that, because I'm telling you, if you are still just so stuck in this reality and thinking it's all so real and everything is so just real and fixed, then what I'm saying is you're just not going to understand. I know, I used to be there too. But when you realize that shifting your reality means a shift in here that affects everything out here, and your faith increases the more you see it, then that's when things really start to change. You start to realize what it means to let go of things. Honestly, just example, I feel like I'm supposed to share this. Even last week, I had a few days where it was weird. It was I feel like things just happen as an example. I just had this garbage thinking, just thoughts I just couldn't get past. It was weird, just anger, frustration, anxiety, stuff I don't usually deal with a whole lot. But it was no matter what, it just kept going on. Well, I just had this feeling get up, get busy, change your thoughts. And I did. I got busy. I've been rearranging, putting together furniture that I've had sitting unassembled for a long time. Got some stuff done, really stuff that's actually helped me, stuff I've been putting off, I shouldn't have put off. And it's given me more courage, more faith to do even more things I've been putting off, because it's helped me so much, made my life so much easier. But what was going on when I was in the middle of that garbage thinking, I had this spiritually, like when all this was happening, spiritually, I just kept hearing like just this feeling in my spirit, just like the feelings I get told to tell you here. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's intuitive feelings where it's like the reason that this room is such a mess, like not this one, like this one's coming along, but like most of my place here is actually really getting organized, and it didn't take long to do. I was really overwhelmed with it. I was just going through this ADHD overwhelm where I saw a million tasks instead of one thing at a time. And I just started doing one thing at a time and just sticking with it. And it didn't take long to do things that I was thinking I was going to have to hire a professional organizer or something. I almost did, but I'm like, if I do that, it's just going to get worse, because they're going to overwhelm me, and I'm just going to go along with whatever they say, and it's not going to work, you know. But anyway, this outer world, I had all this clutter around me, tons of clutter for no reason. When I look back, I'm like, why did I let it get that way? It completely reflected my state of mind, and I knew that. I'm like, as soon as I change my state of mind, all that's going to change, and it did. Like, my mood lifted, everything changed. Your inner world reflects your outer, as within, so without. And I just had this feeling. I'm like, once I get some stuff organized. But anyway, I just got some space organized that was not organized before, and I have space to move around. Like, I had just been letting stuff sit for months. And stagnancy, like I even mentioned it last week, stagnancy is what really kills you. Like, if there's something in your life that's not moving, if you're like, I don't know what to do, I just feel like I'm in a rut. And you know, I feel bad when I say this to people who live with other people, because I know sometimes you're in a rut, you have to go along. Sometimes you're just forced to go along to do the best you can, because you're in a living situation you're in for whatever reason. Bad roommate, living with family, whatever. Have no choice but to live where you are right now, and that's really sad. Find whatever peace you can within that. Hopefully you have your own space and your own sanity, like a place to be sane, you know, because that can really mess with a person. But anyway, you know, I kept seeing videos about get your space organized. Get rid of clutter. Get rid of stuff you're not using. There's energy attached to all of it. And I mean, I could really get deep about some stuff I believe about that. How it's just easier, and there are tons of spiritual properties, feng shui, there are all kinds of different things where really when you have things in clean lines, it's just so much easier for your mind to take in. And right now, you guys, and it's always been this way, the war is in the mind. The battle has always been in the mind. It's always been for the mind. Whether you want to call it spiritual battle or whatever, you got to know what's coming at you at all times, because you're always receiving a signal and putting out a signal, just like a receiver. Like, really, it's a transceiver. You're a transceiver. You receive and send signals. Like, you process the signal. It's up to you what you want to do with that signal. It's up to you what signals you want to focus on, what signals you want to accept, what videos you want to scroll past, what stuff you want to take in. That's how you really create things. The longer you sit there and watch something, the more you create it. Like, the more you watch the rage bait videos, the more enraged you're going to be. The more you watch the stuff that makes you feel ashamed or whatever, makes you feel guilty or sad, the more you're going to feel those emotions, the more it's going to show up in your world. Anyway, you naturally command respect. You know, I'm getting this too, like about the clutter thing. I just keep going back to that. If there's anything in your life that you've been putting off decluttering, organizing, because a lot of it, look, for a lot of us, it's like OCD or ADHD overwhelm. I've had people tell me it was OCD before. I don't know. The point is, you can find little ways, like start saying, I know, or okay, here's what I started doing. Say, I feel like I know what to do to get organized. I just started visualizing my place here organized. Like, even though it was overwhelming for me to look at it, I feel like, okay, this card here I got about the respect, that's coming. Like, if you declutter your life, like, It's holding you back from something. Because here's another download I got, and this is for this reading, for somebody needs to hear this. Imagine that, like, let's say you had to have a house guest or something. You had, let's say you're somebody who just happens to have an extra room and there's nothing in it but just junk. It's a junk room. You could be doing other stuff with it, but no, it becomes a junk room. When you moved there, you didn't say it was going to be a junk room. You're like, no, I'm going to do this with an exercise room or a craft room or extra bedroom or something. But it ended up being a junk room. Well, in the meantime, something happens. Like an out-of-town visitor, somebody needs a place to live, like even just for like a week. Somebody you wish you could put up for a week. You wish it could stay with you, but you can't because it's very sudden and you would have to clean out that room. And there's no way you can because there's stuff in there that just, you would need help moving out of there. Someone shows up at your door. Let's say somebody just needed to store some stuff. Completely illegal stuff. Let's say they even wanted to pay for storage to rent space from you. Anything. Look, the point is, what I'm saying is, you can't really do much if you haven't cleaned up your life, if you haven't made room for stuff. You don't even know what you can hold. You don't even know what you're capable of holding. So how can you keep asking for more and more and more? If you're not already, like I keep going back to like the Bible, which is full of hidden knowledge, by the way. Don't assume you know my beliefs if I mention the Bible, because it's just one text. Be faithful in little before you'll be faithful in much. You know, it's really, I'm getting what that means now. It's just common sense. It's like we ask for more and more and more, but it's like we're not already using to our highest benefit the stuff we already have. Okay, and while we're on this subject, I feel like I'm supposed to tell you this, a download I got. And I'm going to do more videos about it, but no, this is just a crazy theory. Don't believe me. You don't have to believe me. I'm just crazy. Saying just stuff that doesn't even matter, doesn't exist. There's an order to things. Contracts, like spiritual stuff. I've been saying this for years. Nothing proves the existence of hell more than the IRS's supplemental schedules. It's one schedule after another. It's like you have to have a code to, oh my gosh, it's one schedule after another. If you're good at filling out schedules, you could do your own taxes. I mean, it's one schedule after another. Look at this supplemental schedule. Look at this schedule. The universe works the same way. It's, look, stuff I don't want to get into right now, but I found the name. There's a book behind me by Aleister Crowley. And there's a what you would call a demon or a fallen angel mentioned, named Gap, which one day I opened it. The first thing I opened to in that book, really, when I got it, and I've done videos about it here. This is just a theory. I'm just making up stuff. It's number 33, Gap, which as soon as I saw it, and it's all caps, GAAP, which I have an accounting background. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what that means. It stands for Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, at least in the United States. And a lot of things made sense. And when you read it, when you read GAAP, there's no way they're not talking about dual entry accounting, about oh gosh, just someone who presides over things, really. And here's the thing, if you do financial statements in the United States, which I used to do, in the management report, but it can be other places, I believe. Things change though. And somewhere in a financial statement, you have to put these financial statements prepared in accordance with GAAP. It's very specific, the language very specific, in accordance with GAAP. But what it's supposed to do, I believe, like let's say there's someone in control. Just theories, no way this is true. This is definitely not happening. There is no one casting spells or doing any kind of spell work over anything governmental. No, they would never be involved in anything like that. GAP's appearance, let's say there was some kind of entity presiding over everything like that. Let's say even goes back to this dollar bill right here with this all-seeing eye right there, okay? On all the currency, which like rivers, banks, I've been talking about that on here, how money is really meant to circulate. In fact, it multiplies the more it circulates. The more you put out, the more you help other people. The more you give to other people, the more you get back. Like there are times I've even bought courses and books from other people, from other creators, because it gave me value. And I know I'm blessed for adding value to their life, for paying for that value. People who live in scarcity, who just want to shame you and say that you shouldn't charge. I'm not saying people don't overcharge, because people do overcharge for stuff. But this thing where everything can be free, no, it can't. When you pay for information, you're going to be blessed. That person who prepared that information is going to be blessed. Anytime you let go of any money, even if somebody stole it from you, just start speaking over your life. Money always flows back to me. I attract money wherever I go. Banks, river, like currency flow, cash flow, liquidity. Money is meant to circulate. That's why really the best tax shelters, like to avoid taxes, what a lot of rich people do to shelter is just keep buying things that add value to themselves, but also give back to other people, which you can find ways to do that. There are responsible ways to do that, but there are responsible ways to do that, like start a business where people get paid or whatever, help other people start a business. I mean, just whatever it is, like investing money into another company, in other words, is one way to shelter your money. And just keep getting a return on that investment, and just keep making sure it's a good company that pays back, that gives to people. Anyway, this whole thing about money being evil and everything should be free, it can't. But that's really the split. People who think that and people who don't. People who have shame around money, really, that all that talk about people trying to shame you out of making money. You know that saying, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, they feel like they can't join them, so they're going to beat them, okay? Well, if they knew how to do it, they wouldn't be saying that most of the time. Also, it's people who grew up with some kind of shame around money, maybe grew up with a lot of financial privilege, higher class. People who people who were really handed a lot financially in life, who haven't had to struggle for much. And a lot of times it's people also who just don't know any better, who don't realize that, like, let's say you're actually selling something of value, okay, or you can't afford to give your time away or whatever, and somebody wants to be a special project because they're a single mom or whatever. I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing. Please don't take that the wrong way. I'm just trying to say I know people who in the past have come to me with, I hate to use the phrase sob story, because that implies that they're lying or something, but people who a lot of times, have asked for help, have asked me for stuff that always kind of made me go, but I see what else you're spending money on. If you give them something for free, like, you can look at their life and see how many other things they've been given for free and how many things they've squandered, how many things they could be doing for free if they wanted to, how much free information's already there. Like, if you want to do anything at this point in life, between AI and YouTube videos, you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. I mean, you can't really trust AI. You got to know how to use AI properly, because, yeah, it's gotten really, really bad. But I was trying not to ramble like that, but I feel like there's a spiritual discussion there, because, look, my content's changed a bit, and I can't keep that from happening, because there's obviously a reason for it. About contracts, the thing I said about the IRS and supplemental schedules, I totally believe that you can write contracts for yourself. The only reason you don't know to do that is because you don't know to do that. Like, other people basically have written things for you. There's a straw man theory, which I'm not going to get into that right now. You can look that up. At least it depends on how you interpret that. But the way I see it is, you're like a fictional person anyway. And it's like there's already somebody who's taken ownership of you, if you want to call it that. It's not really you, it's this legal person on paper. There's an order of things. When I talk about that gap thing, okay, gap is supposed to preside over the finances. Let's say there's something going on. Gap is supposed to be a good thing, presiding and doing the right thing financially, okay? I would say more if I could, but I can't. There's stuff I can't say, but here's what's going on spiritually, okay? This is my take on it. You can disagree, but this is what I'm shown visually of how it operates, how things go, okay? Basically, this whole place is just a theory. It's like a whole field of consciousness that works the same way as, like, what I believe is the holodeck on the Starship Enterprise, okay? Not just that, but the Nexus revealed in Star Trek Generations. Anyway, which is based on real technology, by the way. I actually have a book I wrote about it at my website called The Holodeck Method. I've been reading from it here. I'm not even trying to get you to buy it. I've been reading from it here. It's about the method. But the point is, there's a field of consciousness, okay? Living library technology, just a theory. When you're born as a being, basically it's like, think of it like this, like, I feel like there's just like a bunch of little light bulbs, like the people, like if you're looking at it from a distance, you have a consciousness field, and like below it, a bunch of little light bulbs spring up, and the light bulbs represent your brain and your nervous system, your spinal cord all the way down. Like a game where the light bulbs, like a person just sort of just running around the board, don't even realize what's going on, don't even realize that they are powering everything. They are everything. They are just drawing in what their nervous system, what their spinal cord, their energy, like drawing in the feelings that they think they're supposed to have. Born onto what they don't know is just part of a living library, part of a stage, basically. It's like being born on a stage that you don't know is a stage. Because the living library was hijacked. Long story. Nothing happened. That didn't really happen, no. And someone decided, hey, let's cut them off from their source and trick them, and everything they see here is real. They don't need to know that outside of this, there's a much greater reality. But anyway, what's going on here? That consciousness, okay? So let's just say that you're down here and you don't know that you're this bright shining light. You don't know that you're not just a light, but you're a magnetic battery, that you are, imagine just like a magnetic light bulb that's pulling in from all this consciousness. Just running around thinking whatever thoughts they're thinking, don't even realize that because they haven't grounded their energy, they're just sort of like sparking all over the place, just drawing in whatever. Some people, though, who are taught from a young age to ground their energy, to control their nervous systems, who grow up with parents who have more controlled nervous systems a lot of the time, you know, people who aren't just conditioned to survive from a young age, aren't traumatized from a young age, all this. Look, a lot of us don't grow up that way. We have to learn it later. But you can protect your biofield from all this energy coming at you. A lot of people do it naturally. They learn it through various spiritual practices or various religions. Like, believe it or not, I believe the Catholic Church teaches some things that help open your pineal gland, help protect you. They're not the only ones, though. Once you learn, but once you start protecting your energy, once your energy is protected, your nervous system is regulated, and you are not just manipulated by all this energy. You're not out here just taking all the energy coming at you. You realize you don't have to do that. You are protected. You start taking care of everything around you. It starts with stuff like that. Like, let's go back to the contracts for a minute. Example of a contract. I signed a binding contract that says certain things on my lease, right? Because I rent this place. Well, you know, I'm supposed to take as good a care of this as I can. My good karma is going to come from, you know, upholding the lease, taking care of things, making sure it's clean, making sure it's organized, and also using it to the best of my ability, being a good steward of it. And also, honestly, because my name is attached to it, because there's a money exchange attached to it, it makes sense to me that the less cluttered my house is, the less cluttered my mind is. Because that's all attached to me. It becomes part of my biofield because I signed a contract. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just how it works. That's just the law of the simulation. Words are that powerful. Especially all these supplemental schedules and stuff. Look, it's kind of like this. Because you didn't know you were born into this. Because someone else had control of you. Like I said, the straw man. You can look that up. It's like even your social security number, your card, like outside the United States, things may be different, but you know, your driver's license, it says your name, but doesn't, you know, that's just your name. It doesn't really represent you. You are you. Anyway, the point is, let's say you just had your own set of rules for the universe for dealing with you. Because when I read that book about gap, and like I said, that's only the 33rd one. The book is The Magical Books of Solomon by Aleister Crowley. I was pronouncing it wrong. It's Aleister Crowley. And there's a lot of stuff in there that's really interesting. And when I opened to that section about gap, I was like, what? Anyway, there's a whole order of things. A whole order of how things operate, even in the spiritual realm. When we talk about demons or angels, whatever, if you want to call it that, if you want to believe in such things. And honestly, I believe harnessing this and giving it names gives it power. Like even mentioning it in this book and the fact that others may use that book, it becomes powerful. It becomes powerful to those people because the power increases because things have been done over centuries or whatever to increase it. You can make your own. You can do your own contracts. You can write your own books and say, this is how I command the universe to deal with me. This is what I want from the universe. This is how it happens. Yeah. These are the rules of my life. Now, there might be certain things you can't write. It must be to the good of all, to the harm of no one. But anyway, if I had more time, I would do a whole channel just based on that. Contracts you write with yourself and just keep amending those contracts. I've done a little bit of it. I'll do some more if I can. There just aren't enough hours in the day. Anyway, I know I've talked a lot, but I'm going to leave all this in here. When I have time, I'm going to start talking about stuff like this on another channel I have called So It Is, which I just haven't had time for lately, but it might be linked below or somewhere here. But anyway, my point is, get your house uncluttered. It's time to declutter. Spiritual ascension, like really, I didn't realize how much that's part of it. Like even clean eating, taking care of your body, taking better care of your body as a spiritual instrument. The whole thing's related. It's like you're here to do the best job of playing this game as possible. Okay? Learning the rules, learning that you're not limited to just what's on the stage here, that you've always had access to what's going on outside of this dome. Okay? You've always had stuff going on outside of it. And the way you really ascend out is to match with the vibe outside of it, because the vibe under the dome is different. Just theories. How are you going to handle it outside the dome if you're acting like you do here? They don't want that. Maybe they don't want that there. Anyway, just crazy theories. Anyway, time to get everything in order. You can do this. The stuff that you're responsible for, time to get it clean, okay? Finances, everything. Time to just get it done. You're only holding yourself back. Like, seriously, I believe spiritually, like, it's made me more intuitive. I just feel better not having so much clutter around. It started by just, like, organizing it into big groups, and I don't know, it just sort of got organized all of a sudden. And if I can do it, you can do it. Clean up your life and make room for something else, okay? You naturally command respect. It is spoken, it is written, and so it is. Amen.